On this episode of AVWeek, we are coming to you from InfoComm 2023 in Orlando, Florida. Like we do most InfoComms, we're going to split this into two separate parts. So what you're going to listen to right now is part one, some really great folks. So sit back, relax, and hear everything that we all learned from InfoComm 2023. All that and more next on AVWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
We can't say the future without AI. I mean, there's no way around it. 50% of workers now believe AI is going to improve their experience. When I come into the meeting room, I need a way to incorporate my AI with what's going on in the meeting. It's almost a bring your own AI type of a concept. Most of what we do in our day-to-day is going to change significantly.
Hear the latest AV trends and predictions in this episode of Crestron's Smarter Spaces podcast on your preferred podcast platform.
This is AVWeek, episode 617, recorded Friday, June 16th, 2023. InfoComm 2023, part one. This is AVWeek, your weekly wrap-up of audio news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. And if you're listening to this, yes, it sounds different. If you're watching it, yeah, it looks different. We are at InfoComm 2023 on the second floor of CTI's booth. I'm not going to give you the booth number because it doesn't matter at this point by the time you're watching, because it's over. We're recording this on Friday. With me will be a cavalcade of characters and folks talking about their experiences this week, what we see, what we hear, and what we feel like the industry is doing today. We're first and foremost, Adaline Tatum from USC. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
This is Adaline's first InfoComm, so that means it's her first InfoComm wrap-up, so Greenblatt, be nice to her.
I always am.
Because this is your 35th.
Close, 27th.
I was just trying to be honorary. It's just 20. Good Lord, dude. We're old.
Yeah.
Steve Greenblatt, of course, from Control Concepts, Ask the Programmer, and AVNation's State of Control. Adaline, first question to you. Sort of silly, but USC, you are 100% an end user, higher education, HETMA member. Why did you come to InfoComm this year?
So it's my first time here at InfoComm, and I came to InfoComm to actually gain the experience and the knowledge of what it's all about. I always hear my coworkers, oh, InfoComm is such a great way to network and to engage, to learn about new products, and it really is. So that's my real takeaway and why I decided that I wanted to be here this year, and also to hang out with some cool people like you guys.
She needs to raise her standards, Greenblatt. All right, you and I had a conversation along with Brittany DeCesare about a month ago on AVNation, and really we asked the same question. Why were you coming to InfoComm, right? Not for nothing, explain to folks what Control Concepts does and maybe some back history of that.
Sure, we're a software developer, one of the first independent programming companies in the industry specializing in control, and we've moved on to really focus in on API integration and helping create the building blocks that make other people's lives easier, programmers get jobs done and so forth. But why InfoComm is important is because if you're not in it here, what are you doing? You know, I mean, this is you really have to be part of the community, and you have to show your face, and you have to make connections, and you have to really wave the flag. I mean, this is our celebration of the industry. Mm-hmm. This is why we all do what we do all year round, and we come together once a year to be able to see each other and spend time together, because it's really personal relationships that really make business run.
Absolutely. If I heard once, I heard 1,000 times. It's Old Home Week.
It
for
sure
the AV
is.
industry.
Sure is.
Adaline, you stated why you came. Was it a success for you? What did you see? What did you hear? Who did you network with?
So it was a success for me, I must say. I did a lot of networking with different vendors, such as the ones that service our classrooms, like Crestron, Panasonic, CTI. Thank you very much for having me here. I have to shout you out. I know you say I didn't have to. But the scholarship opportunities for others that want to be here, for me, it's a great experience. I love the eSport Live. We are about to open our eSport Lab full hard. We did a soft opening, but we're going full force. So that was a great experience. So for me, It was really beautiful learning new products that are coming out on the line as well, new to AV. It's very interesting and it's very encouraging for me to do other things like do that CTS.
Yeah.
You know, I was a bit scared in the moment, but like now it's like you have so many people that want to mentor, support you along the way that I feel like, yeah, I will be at another InfoComm next year.
So really quickly about the CTS and the mentoring, a couple of longtime friends, Krista Bender and Hope Roth, they hosted a CTS prep this week, right? And I caught Krista just in the hall here as you do. And in chatting with her, she said she had 3 or 4 people come up to her that took the CTS test on Wednesday and passed. So like that's why I do it, right? That's why so many people give back, so many people volunteer. You volunteered for years with Avixa. That's why they do it, is to give back and quite frankly to pay it forward and to sow into the next generation and the next iteration of this industry. Steve, what was it a success this year for you?
It's been nonstop, so I have to say it has to be a success based on that. It's really great to have engaging conversations, and I think a lot of people are here to figure things out. Business is different, we all know that, and that's a good thing. And we're all here to kind of figure out what does the future look like and how are we going to be able to work together. There's so much like partnership going on, and I think that's really critical. I think that although companies need to compete and competition is good because it makes everybody better, if we work together, the sum is greater than the parts. So that's really why we're here, and I think that it's great to be able to have conversations and sit down with people. It kind of reminds me a little of ISE. Okay.
Wow, that's a huge compliment. I mean, that's because ISE is a much bigger show from a attendance standpoint, but yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to hit on that. You and I have been coming to these for a couple of years, right? Certainly through the turbulency of the 08 crash and the downturn in attendance overall and business overall. And we watched InfoComm, specifically this show, grow every single year. Before, like 08, it was, Vegas was always bigger than Orlando, but there was still marginal growth over year. And after the 08, once businesses started coming back, it was growth every single year, right? It wasn't that East Coast, West Coast thing anymore. Every single year it grew. And then, of course, the pandemic happened. So I'm not going to use a certain phrase that people have said about trade shows. However, what is your feeling about this show and this industry as we are just getting post-pandemic here? What is your feeling? Where do you think we're at?
There's positivity, there's optimism. I really think that there is the absolute need for what we do.
Yeah.
It just may not be what it was in the past. So we're all here, as I said before, to figure things out, but I think the energy is back, and I think that people are coming here because they say, I need to be here because I need to be able to help this industry strengthen. And I think that we're poised to succeed. We just have to get over some more hurdles.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, business is about making changes, because if you stay on a course and don't veer off, eventually you'll hit a dead end.
Yeah. Adaline, I want to touch on something really quickly. Adaline has just recently received her PhD, so she is automatically smarter than both Steve and I put together.
Oh my gosh.
Talk up for a second, though, about the education market and the importance of pulling up young people through this industry. What have you learned, and how have you connected this week with some folks who are younger than the two of us, right? And their excitement about the industry?
That's a great question. So basically connecting and networking, especially through the HEPMA Education Summit, which was such a success to me as an educator, because a lot of reflection and a lot of thinking, a lot of collaboration went through the system in that session, and it was great. For young people, I feel as though they don't or they aren't aware of the opportunities that they may have, because I don't see like companies in the industry extending that arm to, we could go to high schools and recruit young people, because I am new to AV, 3 years in, and it's because someone that is in the AV or have been in the AV, Joey, for a while that pulled me in. I was basically a technology teacher didn't know anything about AV. So now that I'm in it, I see a lot of opportunities. They say jobs are scarce, but if we could get into the school system, I would say even from middle school, and start mentoring students and getting them involved and doing little projects with them. At the AVIXA Women's Breakfast yesterday was amazing.
It was really great. Yeah,
Girls
I
Who
was there as
Code.
well.
You know, and in my head, I'll be honest, I'm going to put it out there. Anybody want to take my idea? That's fine. Why not Girls Who Game? They have a lot of young girls out there that's into gaming.
Yep.
Like, we have to do the gender gap connection and bridging it. I feel like we could start with middle school or even high school, you know, but I feel like that's a good way to start.
That's a really good point, because one of the things, I mean, whether it's NSCA or it's AVIXA or it's, you know, other organizations, we've been talking about a shortage of workers for a long time, it feels like. Certainly today, certainly through the pandemic, we had events folks in general, right? That industry, yes, it got decimated in 2020, but it had a secondary decimation. I was talking to Wallace Johnson, actually during the pandemic, he's like, this is our biggest problem, is folks, there are no events, and you've got hundreds or thousands of years of knowledge that are leaving the industry and left because they couldn't make any money, right? They had to feed their families. So we have not only the loss of that knowledge, but also the loss of all those workers. So we have openings, right? You want a job? The AV industry is a great place for it. Maybe at CTI, we're still recruiting, right? I know SPL and AVI Systems and probably every company on the SEN Top 50, they are all recruiting and trying to get in. But getting at the middle school and the high school level is a great idea. Absolutely.
I think it's also the responsibility of those of us that are in the second half of our career to be passing that knowledge down.
Who is that?
Well, I mean, I am.
Ah, I love it, Steve. I love it.
You know,
Who are you talking to?
I don't know.
My back feels like it's the second. I don't know.
But you know, if people are aging out, just like you said, they're leaving with this knowledge, and it has to be transferred.
It has to be.
But while some of it may be dated, there's so much that's tribal knowledge, and there's so much just about the way relationships work, the way the organization works, the way businesses operate, and how the industry does business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to touch on that, I feel as though I was having a conversation, networking, with another pair of birds from HEPMA, and it was interesting because I didn't even know that Las Vegas University has a AV degree, and apparently it's the only one, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm like, why aren't universities, USC, putting this into the system and driving this force? Because, you know, so right there, I feel like the industry can join together, bridge that gap, and have programs be implemented in the university levels.
Well, and here's the thing with that. So I'm not going to correct you, I'm just going to add to that. I didn't know about Las Vegas. I knew about PACE.
Yes. There we go.
So
see?
here's the thing, that we suck at telling people our story.
There we go.
I mean, right. I mean, George and Rich Miller from PACE, they have, it's not a degree yet, but they have a course, right? A class. They just graduated their first class in May. We have to tell those stories. Like, our folks have got to be better about, you know, promoting ourselves
and supporting them.
And supporting each other, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. This is how these next two episodes work. I'm going to get a couple of really great folks and not take too much of their time on a Friday. Adaline, Tatum, how do people connect with you?
You guys could connect with me on LinkedIn or at tatuma@usc.edu.
All right, Mr. Greenblatt.
You can reach me at Steve Greenblatt on social media. As Tim said, I have a podcast about control and programming called The State of Control with my partner Rich Vergosa. Also Ask the Programmer with James King. And I have to give a special shout out to my wife, Jerry Ann, who's not here today, because we have a 3-week-old baby, and she's always here with me, and I appreciate her supporting me and being able to come.
Absolutely, we missed you. So.
Yeah.
All right, part 2 of this episode. First and foremost, Bren Walker from Kierkegaard, also from the AVIXA board. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am well. Always good to see you in person.
You too.
So we have Bren on every 6 weeks, and I usually get to see her from either France or Vancouver or someplace else
or
in the world.
someplace where I get to make fun of him while I'm there.
You are a Browns fan, right?
Browns.
We commiserate
Well,
on our.
he's a Bears fan.
I'm a Bears
so
fan.
Who's got it worse?
Exactly.
You know, at least the Cavs won the
Every team
championship.
needs one fan.
So
Every team needs one fan.
And
every
and-
team.
and we're it.
every team.
We're
Exactly.
Joe Way from USC and HETMA. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fabulous. Thanks for having me.
Good. I'm going to pick on you for having a booth this year. Bren, this is from your perspective, right? You're not speaking on
Sure.
behalf of Avixa. You're not speaking on behalf of Kierkegaard. Why did you come this year? Why did you attend InfoComm?
You know, I came this year to see what the state of immersive audio was.
Okay.
Right? And if there were any new players who were putting forward their immersive or hyperreal audio solutions. I was happy to see that Fulcrum has introduced a solution because for our sort of mid-tier market, that'll get immersive into some places where we might not have otherwise been able to do it. Of course, L-Acoustics, D&B, Meyer, they've always had the solutions, but we've been waiting for this to become the new reality of audio, right? For us to like get to that place where we realize stereo is artificial and that we want to have audio that sounds like what the real world sounds like to us. And Fulcrum's solution to me whether the solution's great or not is kind of irrelevant. What it means is that the market is spreading. The other reason why I came is I thought that more people might have new products this year, which was true.
Okay.
And also, I always try to solve at least one problem.
And did you solve it?
I solved two.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Good for you.
So I'm very happy.
Yeah.
And one of my clients knows about it already, so they're happy
Well, then
too.
there you go.
We solved the problem and we saved money. So
Holy cow.
it doesn't get any better than
You
that.
need a raise.
I gotta give myself a raise.
Okay, give yourself a raise. Mr. Way, not for nothing. Joe is obviously USC, but also you were heavily involved in HETMA. You guys had a booth this year.
Yes,
So
we
it feels
did.
kind of weird to ask you why you came, so I'm going to do it anyway. So why did HETMA come? Why did HETMA have a booth?
Yeah, no, great question. Really, we've seen HETMA grow so fast, really quick, and I keep saying that we're like the most known, unknown group that exists. We have so many people, huge support from Avixa all along to build our organization. A lot of people kind of in the know, but then you go to the average tech manager on a college campus and they're like, never heard of what this is, right? And they're finding out from their vendor partners and stuff. So we wanted to say, how can we actually have a tangible flag, a stake in the ground for the vertical? As we know, that higher ed is the fastest growing vertical in the entire AV industry. And our people, our in-house integrator people, they're true professionals, right? Getting certified, becoming and investing in their own careers. We're just very unique in the sense that, we're not necessarily competitors, but we're colleagues, and we're now fitting in the AV industry in a very different way. So we wanted to say, hey, you know what? You have a home. Rather than just being a virtual presence, let's make it physical. Let's have a place where you can come in and go, okay, my people are here. And we did. So, that was the main goal, obviously, to kind of grow membership, would be one. But really just to make sure that everyone understands the strength and the power of the higher ed vertical, and I think we definitely achieved that. It's just been pumping. I'm not gonna lie, I have been a nervous wreck for a month and a half to 2 months and what it takes. Total new respect for anyone who puts a booth together.
Welcome to the club.
It's, and I know, exhibitor badge.
Yes.
I have to say the HETMA Summit was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like a mini hackathon around trying to design a solution. And I'm a big fan of HETMA. We do a lot of higher education work. I tell the folks at universities that I work with who don't know about it, you got to get into this. Because I think sharing how we solve problems will help everybody lift the boat.
Yeah.
And it will help those folks who maybe they're one or two people on campus, and they don't have a lot of places to go to even just say, I've got this issue, I've never seen this before. Being able to have a group to go to, somebody there has had that issue already.
Yeah.
And as a consultant, I've probably seen it 4 or 5 times. So I'm happy to say, here's what we've done at these different places to help. So it just lifts everything. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Big HETMA fan.
Joe, let me ask you a question, because that's actually a really good point, Bren. What does that mean to you that folks like Bren, right? Bren is awesome in general, right? But let's take Bren, the person, and like she is on the Avixa board, right? She is a consultant. You have manufacturers, all of these different people, all these different segments. Me, right? I work for an integrator. All of us are champions of HETMA. All of us are promoting HETMA to the people that we know. What does that mean?
It means that there was a gap, this random, empty space that we felt a couple years ago, and we founded the organization saying, we know that that gap is there. We don't know what it means, but now we recognize that was the right instinct to have, right? That there needed to be somewhere where we could take everyone, wherever you are in the chain, from manufacturer, consultant, integrator, tech worker on a campus, to our own customers, our faculty. And there's a place where we can line those all up together, both in just getting the right solutions, building the right partners, getting the education, having a community and as kind of a social aspect. And that's where, as we've seen it just grow, it was amazing that the gap we thought was like this was really like this.
Yes, yes.
And that's really why it's cool to see it here. And starting with the Hired AV Awards on Monday, that was a sellout. Then we have this Education Summit on Tuesday, that was a sellout. A booth that is packed as can be.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the record, Mr. Way told me yesterday how many booth scans he has. And as an exhibitor, as someone who has a booth, I was a little ticked at him because he has more than me, right? I mean, you are drawing those folks in at an incredible clip.
Yeah, and I think, again, that's what it shows, that it was really needed. And to have so many people come and go, thank you for being here. Yeah. How do we either get involved if you're a manufacturer or integrator, or are people saying, thank you, I've needed this. How can I now grow my own career and what we have going? And we've got some great announcements. The gap now just went like this, so we're going to have some great things that will be announced shortly, too.
You could do it right now.
You want me to break it right now?
Yeah.
Okay. We're now going to do road shows, 12 to 15 different cities around the country. And we're going to find some host locations that, maybe you can put this on your next guest. We're starting at her school at Johns Hopkins in August. So yeah, that'll be great. I can say it here because by the time this post will have announced at our banquet today.
Right.
Oh, that's right. And we have a banquet. That's still all of this, and we haven't even finished the week yet.
No, we haven't.
So we have a lot of stuff like that.
As an AVIXA board member, what I love about HETMA is that I think HETMA will help raise the profile of AV at the universities, because it's raising profile overall. And our goal at AVIXA is to raise the profile of AV globally, industrially, right? So that people see that we really are, AV really is making the world communicate. Mm-hmm. We're at the heart of how people communicate.
Absolutely we are.
So, and I think that as an industry, we've been a little too set back and a little too insular. And now we can, the more we do this, the more we put it out there, the more we get people engaged and involved, the more value we can bring to the table and the more we can show our value, which is crucial. And which I think will help schools put more money in the direction where it should go.
Absolutely. Joe, overarching, and I'll ask both of you this, overarching, how was your week? How do you feel about the show? How do you feel about the industry?
Great. Show, my week, incredible. I've been on cloud 9. As soon as everything got rolling, all the stress that I had was like, okay, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
And what I feel about the industry, there's a buzz, there's a feeling. I think we were all saying it on Wednesday, there's a feeling about this. I don't think we'll have to look at things in terms of COVID anymore. Are we coming out? Are we not? No. Our industry is ready. Just, Brent, what you were just saying, there are solutions on the floor now. Things are coming out, new products, new developments. It's like even that COVID time that we all just marked off and going, okay, we're going to toss that away. No, manufacturers were using that for R&D. And now we're seeing the impact of that, and you can feel the buzz. You can feel the energy. So I'm really excited just to know, our industry, we're back. We're back.
Bryn, same question.
It was a great week for me, and you might be surprised to hear me say this, but I'm an introvert. And so being in crowds and around people usually just wears me out, and I'm looking forward to, it's gonna be over soon, just hang in, little Bryn. But I have a flight today at 1:40 and I don't want to leave.
Wow.
I actually wish that I had the whole day. So it's just really wonderful to see the number of people who were here, the diversity of the people who were here, the diversity that we saw at the Women's Council breakfast this year, just how packed that room was, and how all of the initiatives that AVIXA has been trying to achieve, they're coming into being, right? And the things that we were working on during COVID, like AVIXA Exchange, like AVIXA TV, that these things are now like, we're seeing the action behind them. And one more little AVIXA plug I have to make is our scholarships are open right now for applications. Please tell people about it. You know, in some years there's so few applications, it's almost a surety you're going to get the money. But we really want kids to know about this, to get that help to get them through school. So.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Way, how do people connect with you or HETMA?
You can find me at TD Albright on all of the socials. You can find me at Josiah Way on all the socials. You can find HETMA at HETMA_org on all of the socials or HETMA.org.
All right, also Higher Ed AV.
And Higher Ed AV, at Higher Ed AV on all of the socials. Yes.
All right, very good. Bren?
I am not on all of the socials. You can find me on LinkedIn, Brenda J. Walker, or email me, bren@kierkegaard.com.
You can catch her on AV in the AM if you
Occasionally.
look very closely.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while I dip in.
All right. For me, for Tim Albright, Joe's right, do not follow me on the Twitters, but go by the website, AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. Right now, you're going to find all kinds of videos from the show floor of InfoComm 2023. Coming down the pipeline, we are going to head to UCX. Actually, that's probably the next time I'll see Mr. Way in September. And there may or may not be a sighting of us at CEDIA. So all that and more at AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv.